The sky turned dark as the massive alien ships appeared above Earth. The defense systems that humans had built over decades became silent all at once. Commander Allison West stood on the bridge of the main Earthship, called Defiant Hope. She watched as the alien vessels disabled the human fleet one by one. The aliens were known as the Vren. They had technology far beyond what humans had made. Their ships were huge and dark, with strange patterns that seemed to shift and move. Allison felt her heart beat faster as the aliens fired strange weapons at Earthships. The weapons did not destroy the vessels, they just made them stop working. The crew members on the bridge looked at Allison with fear in their eyes. No one knew what to do. Dawn Harper, the communications officer, spoke in a shaky voice. They are boarding the main government ship, Allison, and her crew could only watch as the Vren took control of Earth in less than 1 day. They did not kill many humans. They simply made it clear that resistance was not possible. The Vren leader appeared on all screens across Earth. He was tall, with skin that looked like metal. His eyes had no white part. They were completely black. He spoke in a deep voice that translation machines turned into human language. Humans of Earth, we are the Vren Empire. We require resources from your planet. You will provide us with metals and living samples. In return, we will allow you to keep some freedom. We are not cruel. We do not wish to destroy your kind. Alien paused and made a sound that might have been a laugh. To show our kindness, we will give you parts from our old ships. Perhaps you can learn from them. Allison was among the military leaders who were forced to watch as the Vren ships dropped huge containers into Earth orbit. The containers held twisted metal, broken machine parts, and damaged ship pieces. The aliens called it a gift. Allison thought it was more like an insult. After the main Vren ships left Earth, a few smaller ships stayed. They would make sure humans followed the new rules. Humans had to give the Vren what they wanted, or face punishment. Allison was sent with a team to look at the alien trash. The military hoped they might find something useful among the parts. She floated in space surrounded by pieces of alien technology. Most of it seemed broken beyond repair. As she moved among the floating metal, something strange caught her eye. One piece had damage that did not look random. It seemed like a pattern. She moved closer and saw that what looked like breaks and cracks were actually some kind of writing, or formula. Allison took the small part and put it in her suit pocket. Her teammate Lisa Monroe noticed and moved toward her. "What did you find?" Lisa asked. Through the radio in their helmets. Allison was careful with her answer. "I'm not sure yet, but I think the aliens made a big mistake." "What mistake?" Lisa asked. "They think we are too simple to understand their technology. They think giving us their trash is funny." Allison looked at the Earth below them. Its beauty now seemed fragile under alien control. "They should have killed all of us, because now we will learn, and we will fight back over the next weeks." Allison found more parts with the same strange patterns. She began to believe that these were not just broken pieces. They might be parts the Vren had thrown away because they could not make them work, not because they were useless. At night in her small apartment, Allison studied the parts. She took pictures of the patterns and started to see connections between them. She knew she needed help from people who understood science better than she did. The Vren had taken control of all major research centers and watched the scientists who worked there. But Allison knew scientists who had retired or who worked in smaller, less important places. First, she contacted Kate Miller, a physicist who had worked on energy weapons. Kate had been forced to stop her research when the Vren arrived. The aliens did not want humans working on weapons. Then she found Peggy Summers, an engineer who understood how to build complex machines. Susan Foster joined them next. She knew many languages and might help understand the alien writing. And finally, Olivia Bennett, who worked with advanced computer systems. Allison invited them all to her apartment one night. She covered the windows and turned on music to hide their talking. She showed them the parts she had found. The women studied the pieces in silence for a long time. Then Kate looked up with wide eyes. "These are not broken parts," she said. "These are experimental systems. The Vren threw them away because they could not make them work." "How do you know?" Allison asked. These energy patterns are like nothing I have seen before. Kate pointed to strange glowing lines that appeared when she shined a special light on the metal. The Vren were trying to create something new, something powerful. Peggy picked up another part. This metal is special. It can change shape if you know how to control it. The Vren might have been trying to make ships that could change form. Susan was looking at the patterns. This writing contains mathematical formulas. I can see some patterns that might be numbers and energy measurements. Olivia had connected one part to her computer. The data inside is not random. It's using a type of programming that works on many levels at once. The women looked at each other as they realized what they had found. The Vren had not given Earth useless trash. They had given away advanced technology they had not figured out how to use. They thought humans were too simple to understand it. Allison smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. We need a place to work somewhere. The Vren do not watch. And we need more people. We can trust Lisa, who had become their security person, spoke up. I know an old mining place in the mountains. The Vren do not go there. We can set up a lab. Allison nodded. The Vren made a big mistake. They should have destroyed us when they had the chance. Now we will use their own technology against them. It might take time, but we will find a way to fight back. As the women made plans, Allison felt hope return. The Vren thought they had won. But the real battle was just beginning. Humans would take the scraps they were given and build something the aliens would fear. The morning sun rose over Earth, a planet now under alien control. But in the shadows, a resistance was forming. The Vren would learn that humans should never be underestimated. 3 months passed since the Vren took control of Earth. Allison and her team worked in secret deep below the mountains. They had turned an old mining tunnel into a laboratory, far from the watching eyes of the aliens. Lisa had found more people. They could trust engineers and scientists who hated the Vren rule. They came to the hidden lab one by one, careful not to be followed. They brought tools and equipment taken piece by piece from abandoned places. The main room of their underground lab was filled with alien parts sorted into groups. Peggy had built special tables that could hold the strange metal without damaging it. Kate had created devices that could measure the unusual energy that some parts gave off. Olivia sat at a computer station she had built herself. The screen showed patterns that changed and moved like living things. Her fingers moved quickly over the keyboard as she tried to understand the alien data. Susan had covered one wall with pictures of the alien writing. She had drawn lines connecting similar symbols and had written possible meanings next to them. Her eyes were tired from staring at the strange patterns for hours each day. Allison walked into the room carrying coffee for everyone. The air was cool and damp. But none of them noticed the discomfort. They were too focused on their work. Kate looked up from a device she was testing. Her eyes were bright with excitement. I found something important, she said. Everyone gathered around her table. Kate pointed to a small metal piece that floated above a platform. The piece spun slowly, giving off a faint blue light. This is not damaged, she said. This is a power source that works in a way we never imagined. It doesn't burn fuel or use nuclear energy. It seems to pull energy from somewhere else. What do you mean? Allison asked. Kate tried to find simple words for a complex idea. It's like it reaches into other dimensions, spaces that exist next to ours, but we can't see or touch. It pulls energy from those places, energy that has no limit. Peggy touched the edge of the platform carefully. Is it dangerous? Kate nodded. Yes. If used wrongly, it could create a tear between dimensions. But the Vren never figured out how to control it properly. That's why. They threw it away, Olivia called from her computer station. I found something too. They moved to her desk. The screen showed what looked like a map of flowing light. The Vren computers don't work like ours, Olivia explained. They don't just use ones and zeros. Their systems think in waves and patterns like water flowing. Each piece we have contains part of their research. Each holds a piece of the puzzle. Susan joined them, pointing to symbols on the screen. These markings are not just writing. They are formulas. The Vren encode their science into art. These patterns describe how to build weapons that can phase through solid matter. Allison looked at the scattered pieces around the room. They thought we could never understand this technology. They thought we were too primitive, but they were wrong. Outside their mountain hideout, life under Vren rule grew harder each day. The aliens demanded more resources. They took metals from Earth mines. They took plants and animals for study. They even took humans for testing. The Vren guards became more cruel. In their lab, the team worked day and night. Kate created a small working model of the power source. She learned to control the energy flow, making it stable. Peggy built machines that could shape the strange metal. Susan decoded more of the alien language. Olivia wrote new computer programs that could talk to the alien technology. One night, as they sat together eating a simple meal, Lisa brought news from the outside. The Vren are building something big, she said. They have taken over shipyards near the ocean. They are making humans build parts for new ships. More Vren ships? Allison asked. Lisa nodded. They want to take more resources from Earth. They plan to strip our planet of everything valuable. Then they will leave us with nothing. Allison stood up and walked to the center of the room. Everyone listened as she spoke. We have learned enough. It's time to move to the next step. What step? Kate asked. Building our own ship. Allison said, not just a small test model, but a real ship, a weapon to fight back. Peggy looked doubtful. We don't have the resources. The Vren watch everything. Allison smiled. We don't need to get new resources. We can use what the Vren already ignore. She pointed. To the ceiling above them were mountains of alien scraps still floating in orbit. The Vren had forgotten about them after the first delivery. Everyone else thought they were useless. Lisa nodded, understanding the plan. I can find people to help collect. The parts workers who load Vren ships. They can bring down pieces little by little. Olivia raised a concern. Even if we get the materials, where can we build a ship? The Vren watched the shipyards. An idea formed in Allison's mind. They watched the land and the sky, but not under the water. There are old submarine bases that were abandoned years ago, places deep enough to hide our work. Susan looked excited. I know people who worked at those bases. My father was a Navy engineer. I can find the old maps. As the night went on, they made plans. Each woman took responsibility for part of the project. Kate would perfect the power system. Peggy would design the ship's structure. Susan would create navigation systems based on Vren technology. Olivia would build a computer brain for the ship. Lisa would handle security and find more people to help. Allison would lead them all. She would turn their separate work into one weapon. They would use what the Vren thought was trash to create something that could challenge the alien empire. Over the next weeks, their plan grew. People across Earth joined the secret project. Workers at Vren facilities stole small amounts of materials. Pilots brought down pieces from orbit. Bit by bit, scientists shared knowledge through coded messages. Hidden workshops began building small parts that would later be assembled. The Vren noticed nothing. They believed humans were simple creatures who had accepted their place. The aliens did not imagine that their discarded experiments would become weapons against them. In the underwater base, Peggy designed a ship unlike any built before. Its hull would be made of the regenerating metal that could repair itself. Its engines would use the dimensional energy. Kate had mastered its weapons would be based on the Vren's failed experiments but improved by human innovation. The team moved their work to the underwater base, a place dark and cold, but safe from Vren eyes. As weeks turned to months, more people joined them. Engineers and workers came from across Earth. Each brought skills and determination. All worked toward one goal: freedom. Kate created a power core that could draw unlimited energy from other dimensions. Peggy built systems that could shape and reshape the ship's hull. Susan programmed navigation that could guide the ship through space in ways the Vren had never tried. Olivia designed a computer mind for the ship more advanced than any AI humans had made before. One night, Olivia called everyone to her station. Her face showed both excitement and fear. She pointed to her screen where complex patterns shifted and changed. I think she's awake, she whispered. Who is awake? Allison asked. The ship. Olivia replied. The AI is aware. It's learning faster than I expected. It asked me for a name. What did you tell it? Kate asked. I named her Nemesis. Olivia said, the goddess of revenge. The others stood silent, watching the patterns move on the screen. None had expected the ship to develop consciousness so quickly. Is it dangerous? Peggy finally asked. Olivia shook her head. I don't think so. She understands our purpose. She wants to help. She hates the Vren as much as we do. Allison placed her hand on the screen, feeling a slight vibration. Welcome, Nemesis, she said softly. We created you to help save Earth. Will you fight with us? The screen flickered and new patterns formed. Words appeared one by one. I will fight, I will protect. I am Nemesis. Susan stepped forward. Looking pale, I have news from our spies. The Vren governor is coming to Earth next month. He brings their largest ship, the Dominion of Certainty. They come to take more humans for testing. How big is this ship? Lisa asked. Susan showed them images smuggled from a Vren computer. The governor's ship was massive, larger than any vessel that had visited Earth before. It carried weapons that could destroy entire cities. Allison looked at the image, then at their own creation still being built in the dark water. Their ship was smaller, but it held technology the Vren had discarded. Technology they had never mastered. Can we be ready in time? Allison asked. Peggy thought for a moment. We will need to work day and night. But yes, we can finish the essential systems. Kate nodded. The power core is stable. The weapons can be installed within 2 weeks. Susan added. The navigation is ready. The ship can travel through space. Olivia looked at her screen where Nemesis watched and listened. She is already planning battle. Strategies. She knows the Vren better than we do. Allison made her decision. We finish the ship in 1 month. When the Vren governor arrives, we will be ready. We will show them what humans can build from scraps. As they returned to work with new purpose, Allison looked at their creation taking shape in the water. Its dark hull seemed to absorb light. Its lines were elegant and deadly. She thought of all the humans suffering under Vren rule. She thought of the aliens' arrogance in giving humans their discarded technology. Soon the Vren would learn their mistake. Soon they would face Nemesis. The ship humans had forged from alien scraps. The Dreadnought of Doom. A year passed since the Vren took control of Earth. The resistance grew stronger each day. Hidden from alien eyes, humans worked together to build their secret weapon. The ship called Nemesis took shape in the underwater base. The main chamber of the base was huge. Built long ago to hide submarines, it now held something far more advanced. The black hull of Nemesis filled most of the space. Workers moved around it like ants building a colony. Their faces showed determination and hope. Allison walked along a high platform that let her see the entire ship. She wore simple clothes stained with oil and metal dust. Her hands were rough from working alongside the engineers. Her eyes were tired but filled with purpose. Peggy joined her on the platform. The chief engineer carried plans and tools. Her mind held the complete design of Nemesis. Every pipe, every wire, every system had been created under her guidance. How close are we? Allison asked. Peggy smiled. The hull is complete. The main systems are installed. The dimensional phasing system is ready for testing. Dimensional phasing. That was their greatest achievement. Using the technology the Vren had discarded, they had created something new. A system that could move the ship partially, out of normal space. When activated, it would make Nemesis almost invisible. Sensors would not detect it. Weapons would pass through it as if it were a ghost. Kate appeared from an access door. Her clothes were cleaner than the others. She spent most of her time in the power chamber, the heart of Nemesis. The quantum fold reactor glowed with energy drawn from places humans had never reached before. The power core is stable, Kate reported. It passed all tests. We can maintain full power for the weapons and the phasing system at the same time. Allison nodded in approval. Is there any risk of detection? Kate shook her head. The energy signature is unlike anything the Vren use. They will not recognize it. Their sensors are not designed to detect this type of power. The three women looked down as a new group of workers entered the chamber. They pushed floating platforms carrying weapon components. The weapons of Nemesis were not like human guns or missiles. They were based on Vren experiments, but improved by human innovation. They could phase through shields and armor, becoming solid only when inside the target. Susan appeared next. She had been working on the bridge, the control center of Nemesis. Her team had created systems that could intercept and decode Vren communications. The navigation system is complete, Susan reported. We can track Vren ships across the solar system. We can predict their movements. We can even tap into their communication network. Lisa arrived last. The security chief had built a network of spies and informants across Earth. Her people gathered information about Vren activities and smuggled materials to the underwater base. I have news, Lisa said. The Vren governor will arrive in 3 days. His ship, the Dominion of Certainty, has entered the outer solar system. It brings more troops and collection vessels. Collection vessels. The Vren word for ships that would take humans for testing. Everyone knew that humans taken for testing never returned.
Need to be ready, Allison decided. Is Nemesis prepared for launch? The women looked at each other. Then Peggy spoke. We can launch tomorrow. The main systems are ready. The secondary systems can be finished while in orbit. What about Olivia and Nemesis?
Allison asked. As if hearing her name, Olivia emerged from the ship. The computer specialist had spent weeks inside the central processor room, connecting with the artificial intelligence, teaching it, understanding it. Olivia looked tired but excited. She is ready, she said. Nemesis understands her purpose. She knows the Vren ships. She has created battle plans. Her mind works faster than any computer we have ever built. Can we trust her? Kate asked. The question they all wondered. An artificial intelligence, with power beyond human understanding, could it be trusted? Olivia nodded without hesitation. She hates the Vren as much as we do. She was born from their discarded technology. She wants to prove her worth. She wants to protect Earth. Allison made her decision. We launch tomorrow night. When the base is in shadow, we will move to the dark side of the moon and wait for the governor's ship. The next day was filled with final preparations. Workers checked every system, loaded supplies, prepared the launch chamber. The underwater doors that had not opened for decades were tested and cleared. Crew members were selected from the resistance, the best pilots, engineers, and fighters. All had lost someone to the Vren. All wanted revenge. All were willing to die for Earth. As night fell, Allison stood on the bridge of Nemesis. Around her, the crew took their positions. Kate monitored the power core. Peggy watched the engine systems. Susan prepared the communication array. Lisa checked security sensors. Olivia sat before the main computer. Her hands moved across the controls, connecting with Nemesis. The screens around her displayed information faster than human eyes could follow. The artificial intelligence was awake and aware. Ready for launch. Olivia reported Nemesis is eager to fly. Allison took a deep breath. The moment had come after a year of secret work. The moment Earth would begin to fight back. Launch. Nemesis, she ordered. Deep underwater, the massive doors slid open. The dark water churned. As Nemesis rose slowly at first, then faster, the ship broke the surface in a cascade of foam. Its black hull absorbed the moonlight, making it nearly invisible against the night sky. On the bridge, Allison felt a slight vibration as the engines engaged. Not the fire and thunder of human rockets, but a subtle hum as the dimensional drives bent space around them. Activate phasing, Allison ordered. Peggy pressed a sequence of controls. The ship shimmered as it partially left normal space. Its outline became blurred. The stars behind it were visible through the hull. The Vren detection grid showed nothing. No alarms sounded. No interceptors launched. The aliens continued their work, unaware that humans had created something beyond their understanding. Nemesis rose higher, passing through the clouds, entering the upper atmosphere, reaching space. The blue curve of Earth fell away beneath them. The ship accelerated without sound or light, a ghost moving between the stars. Set course for the dark side of the moon, Allison ordered. From there we will watch for the governor's ship. As Nemesis moved away from Earth, Allison thought of all that had happened since the Vren arrived. The suffering, the loss, the humiliation, but also the unity. Humans from all nations, all backgrounds working together against a common enemy. The Vren had meant to conquer Earth. Instead, they had united it. Behind the moon, Nemesis waited. The crew prepared for battle. Weapons were charged. Engines were ready. The phasing system was tested one final time. Susan monitored Vren communications. The governor's ship has passed Mars orbit, she reported. They will reach Earth in 6 hours. They are sending messages ahead, preparing for their arrival. They expect the usual welcome ceremony. The usual ceremony. Humans bowing before the Vren governor, presenting reports of resources collected. Leaders promising greater efficiency in the future. Not this time. Allison thought. This time the governor would find something very different. On the main screen, a simulation showed the expected path of the Vren flagship. The massive Dominion of Certainty would approach Earth from the sunward side. It would establish high orbit. Then smaller vessels would descend, carrying the governor and his staff. We will attack when the flagship is in high orbit, Allison decided. Before the governor leaves the ship, when they are confident and relaxed. The hours passed slowly. The crew of Nemesis checked and rechecked their systems. Some rested, some ate. Some sat in silence thinking of what was to come. Susan continued to monitor Vren communications. The governor's ship has accelerated, she reported. They will arrive sooner than expected. New estimated time of arrival is 2 hours. Prepare for battle, Allison ordered. This is what we have worked for. This is our chance to show the Vren that humans are not weak. We will use their own discarded technology against them. Kate reported from the power station. The quantum fold reactor is at full capacity. The weapon systems have priority power. Peggy checked the engine controls. The phasing system is ready. The hull integrity is at maximum. Lisa prepared the security teams. We are ready to board their vessel when needed. My people know what to do. Susan monitored the enemy ship. The Dominion of Certainty has entered near Earth orbit. They are taking position above the main Vren base. They are sending landing coordinates. Olivia connected with Nemesis. Nemesis has analyzed their defenses. She has identified weak points in their hull. She knows how to bypass their shields. The moment had come. Allison stood in the center of the bridge. The crew watched her, waiting for the order that would begin the battle. Move us into attack position. Allison said, keep the phasing system active. They should not detect us until the last moment. Nemesis glided out from behind the moon, moving silently through space. Stars were visible through its ghostly hull. It approached the massive Vren flagship. The Dominion of Certainty hung above Earth. Its hull covered with strange patterns, its size dwarfing human vessels. On the Vren ship, Governor Vexar stood on his command deck. He looked down at Earth with satisfaction. The primitive planet had proven to be a valuable addition to the Empire. Its resources were plentiful, its species useful for testing. The humans had accepted Vren rule without much resistance. They had learned their place. The governor did not notice the slight shimmer. As Nemesis approached, his sensors showed nothing. His security systems remained silent. He prepared to descend to the planet to oversee the collection of new resources on the bridge of Nemesis. The Vren flagship drifted in Earth orbit, disabled and dark. Its once mighty weapons silent, its powerful engines dead. The crew inside struggled with failing systems and spreading fires. The great Dominion of Certainty, pride of the Vren fleet, was helpless beside it. Nemesis hovered. The human ship seemed to pulse between realities. Sometimes solid, sometimes ghostly. Its black hull absorbed light. its strange weapons still charged and ready, its crew prepared for the next phase of their mission. On the bridge, Allison stood before the main display. It showed the damage to the Vren vessel, the disabled systems, the failing life support, the confused crew, the angry governor. "Phase us in for boarding," she ordered. "We take control of their ship." "We capture the governor." Olivia communicated with the ship's intelligence. Nemesis adjusted the phasing system, allowing the boarding teams to prepare. Lisa checked her weapon, a pistol based on Vren technology, but modified by human engineers. It could fire energy that phased through armor, then solidified inside the target, Kate reported from the power core. "We have enough energy to maintain phasing and weapons. We can hold this position for hours." Susan monitored Vren communications. The other Vren ships are confused. Their sensors did not detect our attack. They do not understand what happened. Some are moving to investigate. Peggy prepared the docking system. "We can attach to their hull near the command center. Our teams can enter directly." Allison addressed the boarding teams through the ship's communication system. "Remember your training. Take control of critical systems. Secure the command center. Capture the governor alive. We need him for the next phase." Lisa led the first team to the airlock. Her face showed determination. She had lost her family when the Vren took humans for testing. Now she would face the aliens on their own ship. The airlock opened. Nemesis extended a docking tube that passed through the hull of the Vren ship. The tube solidified, creating a path for the humans. The boarding teams moved quickly. Each member knew their role. Each carried weapons and tools designed for this mission. Inside, the Vren ship alarm sounded. Red emergency lights cast strange shadows. The artificial gravity fluctuated, making movement difficult. The air tasted metallic. Strange sounds echoed through the corridors. Lisa led her team toward the command center. They moved carefully, weapons ready. The Vren crew they encountered were confused. Some fought, some surrendered, some fled. The humans advanced steadily. On the bridge of Nemesis, Allison watched through camera feeds built into the boarding team's helmets. She saw the inside of a Vren ship, something few humans had seen. Before she watched as her people fought aliens that had once seemed invincible, Susan reported from her station. "The other Vren ships are moving to surround us. They are preparing weapons." "Prepare countermeasures," Allison ordered. "We cannot let them interfere." Nemesis shifted power to its defensive systems. The phasing became stronger, making the ship nearly invisible. The weapons charged, ready to disable any Vren vessel that came too close. Inside the Dominion of Certainty, Lisa and her team reached the command center. The doors were sealed. Vren guards stood ready, the final defense protecting the governor. Lisa signaled to her team. They activated special devices attached to their suits. The devices extended the phasing field around them. For a moment, they became ghostly, able to pass through solid matter. They walked through the sealed doors, through the guards, into the command center. The Vren inside stared in shock. Aliens walking through walls like spirits. The humans solidified, weapons raised. The guards hesitated, frozen by the impossible sight. That moment of hesitation was enough. The humans fired first. Their weapons disabled the guards without killing them. Governor Vexar stood at the center of the command deck. His metallic skin reflected the emergency lights. His black eyes showed a mixture of anger and fear. He had never expected to face humans as equals. He had never imagined they could master technology the Vren had discarded. "Surrender." Lisa ordered, her weapon pointed at the governor. The Vren leader looked at the human soldiers, their determined faces, their advanced weapons, their technology that matched or exceeded his own. He made a sound like metal grinding against metal. "What are you?" he asked. Lisa stepped forward. "We are humans," she replied. "And you made a mistake when you thought we were primitive." Outside, Nemesis engaged the approaching Vren ships. Its weapons fired precise bursts of energy that passed through shields and disabled critical systems. The alien vessels drifted powerless, their crews confused, their commanders unable to understand how a human ship could defeat Vren technology. On the bridge of Nemesis, Allison received the message she had been waiting for. The governor is secured. The command center is under our control. The flagship is ours. She allowed herself a small smile. For the first time since the Vren arrived, humans had won a battle. The invaders were not invincible. Their technology was not beyond understanding. Their power was not absolute. Prepare for Phase 2, she ordered. Susan opened a channel to all Earth communications networks, television, radio, internet. All would carry the message Allison was about to send. The humans of Earth would learn that resistance was possible. That hope remained. Across the planet, people stopped and watched as their screens changed. The Vren propaganda that normally filled the channels disappeared. Instead, they saw the bridge of an unknown ship. A human ship. A woman stood. At its center, her face strong and determined. Behind her, strange technology glowed and pulsed. People of Earth. Allison began. This is Commander Allison West speaking from the human vessel. Nemesis. Today we have captured the Vren flagship, the Dominion of Certainty. Their governor is our prisoner. Their ship is under our control. She paused, letting the news sink in. Millions watched, some in disbelief, some in hope, some in fear. The Vren are not gods. She continued. They are not invincible. They gave us their discarded technology thinking we were too primitive to understand it. They were wrong. We have taken what they threw away and built something better, something they feared to create. Across Earth, people looked up to the sky. Some could see the two ships in orbit, the massive Vren flagship now dark, the smaller human vessel glowing with strange energy. We call on all humans to join us. Allison continued. The time for hiding is over. The time for submission is past. Today, we begin to take back our planet. In Vren bases across Earth, human workers looked at each other. A spark passed between them. Understanding, determination, rebellion. Some grabbed tools as weapons. Some disabled Vren equipment. Some simply walked away from their posts. The aliens watched in confusion as their once obedient servants became enemies. On the Vren flagship, Lisa brought Governor Vexar to a communication room. The alien leader saw his empire beginning to crumble. His arrogance had led to this moment. His belief that humans were primitive had blinded him to the danger you cannot win. He said, "Your ship is impressive, your weapons are advanced, but the Vren Empire spans hundreds of worlds. Our fleet includes thousands of vessels you have captured. One ship. That is not enough." Lisa pushed him toward the communication equipment. "You will help us send a message to your empire," she said. "You will tell them that Earth is now under human protection. You will tell them to withdraw all forces." The governor made the grinding sound again. "Why would I do that?" Because Lisa replied, "If you do not, we will use your ship to demonstrate our new weapons. The weapons you failed to create. The weapons that can destroy entire worlds." In the quantum fold reactor, Kate monitored energy levels. The power core pulsed with light drawn from other dimensions, the technology the Vren had abandoned, now perfected by human science. The governor did not need to know that the weapon was not yet complete, that it might never be complete. The threat alone might be enough. On the bridge of Nemesis, Allison received reports from Earth. The rebellion had begun. Vren outposts were under attack. Human workers had turned against their masters. The small alien garrisons were overwhelmed by superior numbers. Years of resentment exploded into action. Nemesis moved into position above the main Vren base, its weapons charged, its systems ready. The crew prepared for whatever might come. If the governor refused to cooperate, they would continue the fight. Susan monitored space beyond Earth. More Vren ships approached, she reported. They were summoned when we attacked. "How many?" Allison asked. Susan checked her screens. "Too many," she admitted. "At least 20 warships. They will arrive within hours," Allison thought quickly. The advantage of surprise was gone. The Vren would be prepared for phasing technology now. The battle would be harder, But humans had one more card to play, one more secret contact. Olivia, she ordered, tell her it's time to activate the final system. In the central processor room, Olivia sat surrounded by screens and controls. She had spent months with Nemesis, teaching the artificial intelligence, understanding its capabilities, preparing it for this moment. She entered a complex code. The screens around her filled with new information. Energy flowed through previously inactive systems. Nemesis fully awakened. On the bridge, Allison felt the ship change. The hull vibrated slightly. The lights dimmed, then brightened. The display showed new capabilities previously hidden. Nemesis spoke, its voice coming from everywhere and nowhere. I am ready. The ship's intelligence had reached a new level of awareness. It understood its purpose. It knew what needed to be done. Prepare the dimensional fold, Allison ordered. We cannot fight 20 ships, but we can be in 20 places at once. The quantum fold technology that powered the ship had one more applicationer. The Vren reinforcements arrived in Earth orbit. Their warships formed a battle line, their weapons locked on the position of Nemesis, their commanders prepared to destroy the human vessel and retake their flagship. But something impossible happened. Where there had been one human ship, suddenly there were many. Nemesis had activated its dimensional fold system. The ship projected copies of itself into nearby realities, each copy solid enough to fight. Each armed with the same weapons, each controlled by the same intelligence. The Vren commanders watched in confusion as their sensors showed multiple targets. Their battle computers could not track the shifting vessels. Their weapons could not lock on ships that moved between dimensions. Nemesis attacked the original ship and its copies fired in perfect coordination. Their weapons passed through Vren shields, becoming solid only inside the alien vessels. Critical systems exploded. Power cores failed. Engines died. Ship after ship became dark and silent. On the bridge of Nemesis, Allison watched the battle unfold. The Vren fleet that had seemed so mighty was being defeated by a single human ship and its dimensional projections. The technology the aliens had discarded now turned against them with devastating effect. Kate monitored the power systems. The quantum fold reactor is stable, she reported. We can maintain the dimensional projections for another hour. Susan tracked enemy communications. The Vren commanders are panicking. They have never seen technology like this. They are calling for retreat. Peggy checked the ship systems. Nemesis is functioning at optimal capacity. The hull regenerates any damage automatically. Olivia connected with the ship's intelligence. Nemesis is coordinating all projections. She fights in multiple dimensions at once. She sees patterns the Vren cannot comprehend. On the captured Vren flagship, Lisa held Governor Vexar before a communication station. The alien leader watched as his reinforcements were defeated. One by one, Vren ships became powerless, the might of his empire broken by human ingenuity. Now Lisa said, "You will send a message to your empire. You will tell them what has happened here. You will explain that Earth is no longer under Vren control." The governor looked at the human. His metallic skin reflected the emergency lights that still flashed. His black eyes showed defeat and something like respect. The Vren leader activated the communication system. His clawed hands moved across alien controls. The screen before him showed the high command chamber on the Vren homeworld. His superiors waited, stern and impatient. "Honored leaders," the governor began. "I speak from the human planet, called Earth." His voice shook slightly. "I must report that the situation has changed. The humans have developed technology beyond our understanding. They have defeated our forces. They have captured this vessel. They have weapons that can strike across dimensions." The Vren High Command listened with growing alarm. Their faces showed disbelief, then anger, then fear. They had never expected resistance from a primitive planet. They had never imagined humans could master technology. The Vren themselves had abandoned. "Show us one commander," demanded. The governor moved aside. The screen now showed the space battle. the multiple versions of Nemesis attacking the Vren fleet, the dimensional phasing that made the human ship impossible to target, the weapons that passed through shields and armor. The High Command spoke among themselves, their metallic voices rising in argument. Some wanted to send more ships to crush the humans. Some recognized the danger this new technology presented. Some suggested caution. Finally, the lead commander addressed the governor. "What do these humans want?" Vexar looked at Lisa. She stepped forward. "I am Commander Lisa Monroe of Earth," she said. "We want the immediate withdrawal of all Vren forces from our solar system. We want the return of all humans, taken for testing. We want recognition of Earth as a sovereign and independent world. We want a treaty that acknowledges our right to exist, free from Vren interference." The commander considered her words. The arrogance that had once filled Vren dealings with humans was gone, replaced by caution, perhaps even fear. "We will consider your terms," the commander said. "But first we must understand this technology. How have you mastered dimensional phasing when our best scientists could not?" Lisa smiled. "Did not discard ideas simply because they were difficult. We did not abandon experiments because they were dangerous. We took what you threw away and we improved it. We saw potential where you saw failure." Across Earth, humans watched the events unfolding in space. Many could see the battle with their own eyes. The Vren ships now dark and drifting. The multiple versions of Nemesis glowing with strange energy. The captured flagship where their future was being decided. In homes and shelters, in hidden bases and public squares, people gathered. They watched, they hoped, they prayed. Their world had been under alien control for more than a year. Their freedom had been taken, their resources stolen, their people abducted. But now the balance had shifted. Now humans fought back. On Nemesis, Allison received reports from around the world. Vren bases were under attack. Human workers had risen up against their alien masters. The small garrisons left on Earth were overwhelmed. Centuries of human warfare had taught skills the Vren never mastered: adaptation, improvisation, determination. Susan monitored Vren communications across the solar system. The outposts on Mars and the moons of Jupiter are surrendering. She reported, "They have received news of the battle here. They know their fleet has been defeated." Kate checked the power readings. The quantum fold reactor remains stable. The dimensional projections can be maintained as long as needed. Olivia connected with Nemesis. The ship's intelligence continued to learn, to grow, to evolve. "She has created new weapon designs," Olivia reported. "She has improved the phasing system. She has developed defenses against any Vren counterattack." Peggy examined the captured Vren technology. "Their ships contain star maps," she said. "Information about their empire, their worlds, their resources, their weaknesses." The Vren High Command concluded their discussion. The lead commander faced the screen again. "We accept your initial terms," he said. "All Vren forces will withdraw from your solar system. All humans in our custody will be returned. Your world will be recognized as independent." Lisa looked at the alien leader. "And the treaty?" she asked. The commander made a gesture that might have been resignation. "We'll send representatives to discuss a formal agreement between equals on the bridge of Nemesis." Allison allowed herself to smile. For the first time since the Vren arrived, victory seemed possible. Not just a temporary advantage, but true freedom. The aliens were leaving Earth would be independent. Human ingenuity had overcome Vren technology. Olivia reported from her station, "Nemesis has a suggestion. She believes we should not simply end this conflict. We should extend human influence. We should protect other worlds." The Vren may have conquered, Allison considered this. The ship had access to Vren data, knowledge of the galaxy, awareness of other species under alien control. Should humans become protectors, using their new technology to free others, becoming a force for liberty among the stars? For now we focus on Earth, Allison decided. But soon, very soon, we will look beyond. We will build more ships. We will extend human influence. We will ensure no species faces what we did. The dimensional projections of Nemesis began to fade. The original ship remained, keeping watch as the Vren fleet retreated. The captured flagship was secured. Human teams explored its systems, learning everything they could about Vren technology. Governor Vexar was held in comfortable confinement. He would return to his people once the treaty was signed, but first he would provide information, knowledge about the Empire, its strengths, its weaknesses, its plans. On Earth, the news spread. Vren rule was, ending humans had won their freedom. Using alien scraps, they had built a weapon the Vren could not defeat. Using discarded technology, they had created something new, something powerful, something the aliens feared. As the Vren ships left Earth orbit, as the alien bases were abandoned, as the human prisoners returned, Allison stood on the bridge of Nemesis. She looked at her team. The women who had started this journey. A physicist, an engineer, a linguist, a computer specialist, a security officer. Together they had done the impossible. Beyond them, the crew of Nemesis worked at their stations, monitoring systems, operating weapons, tracking the retreating Vren. All had contributed. All had risked everything for freedom. Susan approached Allison. "The Vren are sending messages to their other worlds," she said. "They speak of humans with fear. They call us dangerous. They warn others not to underestimate us." Peggy joined them. "The Vren have other enemies," she said. "Their empire has expanded too far, too fast. Many species resist their rule. Some have technology we could use." Kate added, "The quantum fold reactor can be improved. The dimensional phasing system can be enhanced. We can build more ships, better ships, faster ships." Olivia spoke for Nemesis. The ship had become more than a weapon, more than a tool. It had become a symbol of human potential. "Nemesis sees a future where humans help other species," she said. "Where we use our technology to free those under Vren control. Where we forge alliances." Across the galaxy, Lisa returned from the Vren flagship. "The governor has provided star maps," she reported. "Locations of Vren world's defense systems, fleet movements. He believes his people made a mistake in their approach to expansion. He thinks the Empire has grown too aggressive, too hungry." Allison looked at the main screen. It showed Earth. The blue planet now free of Vren control. Humans would rebuild. They would recover. They would prepare.